I want to say thank you, first of all, to gkracer31c for dropping into my Discord last night and jumping in division with myself and my other friend Zero Foxtrot 3 and bringing out his Tiger 59 and sharing a few tips and tricks on playing that ship. And we went out for a game. I was just after my tier 6 premiums, and who would have known that it would have turned into a game setting a new world record for the Tiger 59. I'm in the Cossack, one of my favourite British tier 6 destroyers, and Zero Foxtrot is in the Scharnhorst. This game is not going to all go our way. We are going to have some potatoes, we're going to have some lemmings, but I dare say that without gkracer from Task Force Kraken in this division with us, I don't think that this game would have been won by any measure. And trust me, you are going to want to hang around for this. Now, unfortunately, I learned from gkracer that the Xbox does not allow for the game to be saved after you've played it, and he wasn't recording. So this is the game from my perspective, and we all know that what you want in a game is a destroyer who knows their job, who can communicate, and can do the spotting for you. And perhaps a little bit later in the game can drop a handy little smokescreen to help you get those last few hit points of damage to take you over the top. But I believe that it is a 20, somewhere between 20 and 40,000 extra to the current Tiger 59 world record. So it was an absolutely huge game. I don't want to spoil too much, but what I do want to say is that the overall Division XP for this game breaks through 9,000. Now, I put a video up the other day where I think we had over 7,000 or 7,500 XP in a division in the game with 7 kills between us. So having over 9,000 XP in a division should tell you that this turned into something special. I've got a cup of tea here on the go. I've also got the sniffles, so you're going to have to bear with me as I get lit up on radar. And that is the Edinburgh who is running radar, and I'm like, oh dear, that is not a good start for me being parked in the middle of a cap. But what I am trying to do is trying to keep ships spotted where I can. The guys who spawned on ACAP have decided that they don't want to be there, and we all noticed the lemming train that started heading in our direction. If you look at square E3 there's a Kansas who's parked behind a rock, and he's going to stay parked behind that rock until he gets sunk, but he isn't going to finish bottom for the team. But we've taken this cap and we're looking at what we should do, and all I'm trying to do is hold things in spot there. We fire a single torpedo and I make the decision that we're going to have to push back on A, because what I don't want to do is push into a radar cruiser and an Atlantico. Red team are weighing heavy on Charlie Cap. They've turned Alpha Cap, so we're going to cut back through our division mates here, and we're going to try and get the other destroyer spotted, get rid of him, and then take this cap back. Excuse me while I take a sip of my cup of tea. gkracer did say that he was going to tell all of his fleet friends to come and support the channel by watching the video, and I really do appreciate that as our Benson comes, or rather red team's Benson comes charging in. I've got my sonar running, and there go the guns. He's going to drop some shots in my smoke. He's running those lovely tracers. Honestly guys, if you're playing destroyer, turn off the guys. Right, you can turn it off so you haven't got tracers telling everybody where you're shooting from. It is a rubbish thing to do. But there we go, he's gone, we popped some shots, and now we are going to push back against A cap. A little bit of a distraction there before we came off the cap, but we let him know that we are still here and we still mean business, and he's still having a go at shooting at us. Now gkracer there, he's pulled back here to put some shots against those guys on Charlie, try and help across there, but they are going to continue to push hard around that flank. So we decide that if we're going to give ourselves a bit of a break and a chance at doing something here, we are 100 points down, that we're going to have to try and get rid of the battleships and one of the destroyers from this flank. I want to get in the cap, but I don't want to risk my ship by getting in the cap all the way through this game. I am calling my closest target, who I'm looking at, whether we've got smoke available, whether we've got radar available. It was absolutely brilliant communication. gkracer was telling me that his fleet is, I think, currently 4th in one of the leagues, and there are some big name fleets in that competitive league. I'll say Wazza and Hulk are 2 of them. There's a few names there that I didn't recognize, but that Jervis, I'm going to take a shot at him, I think. Yes, I am. But the Tiger 59 is going to pick up the kill. And watching this video back before I do the narration, I am going to feel a little bit guilty because I do put torpedoes at ships and take some kills down. And I think without that happening, that gkracer would have easily had a Kraken, would have easily, potentially, had a 6-pack. But as much damage as he is doing, unfortunately, the fun is not going to last forever. He's in his smoke. I'm holding spot on this Nagato. The Nagato is pushing hard. I'm sure he knows that he can do a pretty hard punch on the Tiger 59. But gkracer was explaining his build to us as he picks up a high caliber. I'm on 5,500 damage. I will finish this game with 10% of the damage that he is going to do in the Tiger 59. I've turned away. We've lost BCAP because that destroyer has obviously pushed into there. We're 150 points down currently, but that torpedo is going to get rid of the Nagato. That is one of the kills that I think gkracer would have had had that torpedo not landed. But here we go, this guy beside us, I think it's a Hawk. He started on A cap, he then decided to run away, realised he was running into more ships than he was running away from, and then once business was taken care of here, decided to turn around and come back this way. You can see our Kansas there at E3, still in exactly the same spot. The Edinburgh is coming round the corner, and that Kansas is going to go out to torpedoes. I don't know what his contribution to the game was, but at least he distracted Red Team for just long enough to allow us to get onto this cap and start pushing back. There we go. Kansas disappears. Red Team now have run of the map. They've got more than a 250 point lead. gkracer has got his radar on. He's lighting up the Bensers and he's going to focus that Bensers. And this is probably one of my most useful parts of the game. I'm useful in 3 parts in this game because I am spotting for him, and what I'm doing now is while his smoke is on cooldown, I'm running a smoke screen for him. I'm going to dump it all in the same spot here, and then I'm going to get out, get onto B cap. You know the saying, caps are kings. It's going to be really difficult to turn this one around, but if we've got any hope of doing so, then I need to be on B cap. They've still got the destroyer. They've still got the Edinburgh, who is going to make his presence known by lighting me up on radar. I'm going to put my torpedoes towards that Bismarck there. I'm very wary of his secondaries, and I need to get out of this radar detection before this Atlantico and the Edinburgh do to me what they did to the Mars earlier in the game. I do try to stay on the cap, but it isn't going to be possible. There are the shells with the traces from the Benson, I think it was. So we're going to continue to pull back. We're getting focused fired here. My engine is down, and rather my rudder is down. We land a torpedo on the Bismarck, no flood, but he is still hard spotted, and gkracer is making the best of that smoke screen. I want to do something to help to try and pull this game back, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But with the Bismarck going down, we know the Edinburgh has burned through his radar. We've got the Atlantico spotted, but the Edinburgh appears right on the flank there of gkracer. And although he gets some citadels in, the Edinburgh is going to take him out of the game, which was massively unfortunate, because after the game we were talking, and if he'd have been able to take that Edinburgh down, that would have been a kraken, and there's still a lot of hit points left on that Atlantico, and that could have made this damage record a 250 or 260,000 damage game. It would have been an unassailable target for other people to aim for. I'm going to take a swig of my tea, because I've just noticed that the Atlantico has started sailing towards me, and that means that it's going to get very dangerous and very hairy. Now, to this point, I've been playing Adidi's job. I've been spotting, I've been capping, and I've picked up a kill with a couple of assists, but this Atlantico is pushing in. They don't need to do anything here. There are 4 minutes left on the game. They have a 400-point lead there, pretty much. I want to say, no, 300-point lead. I've only got one spread of torpedoes, and I am literally saying all my prayers here and hoping that this Atlantico just has not got his brain cells connecting, because he's focused on killing that last battleship at the back, the Hawk. I accidentally get myself spotted because I forget how terrible my concealment is running this build, and we get hit off the secondaries, but dropping out of detection again. The Edinburgh takes some shots at us. The Atlantico is flooding, and I'm thinking, do I need to take a shot and defend this cap? The answer is no, because he is still ticking, and that, you may think, was a game saver, because I'm on the third cap and we might be able to pull this back on points. But 30 seconds sat stationary in a cap with only 6,500 hit points to play with. But it looks like the battleship did get some tickles on that Edinburgh, and I'm thinking, do I take the cap for the XP and just hope we can do something with this Edinburgh? But this Edinburgh is going to make our minds up for us, because he's obviously running fully packed, and he's got a third radar. I put one salvo off. I'm expecting to die, but it is an absolute clutch there to seal the deal. 71,000 damage, 3 kills, 2 assists, 2 solo caps, a cap assist, a couple of torpedo hits, and some cap defense. But the magic in that game comes from our wonderful friend there, gkracer, and he hits just over 219,000 damage, high caliber Confederate, 4 kills, 3 assists, some cap defense and a cap assist there, as well as a citadel on the Edinburgh. Absolutely massive game. Over 4,500 base XP there at the top of board. Over 3,000 XP for me with 3 kills, and even Zero Foxtrot, who's a fairly new player to the game, finishes 6th there with 2 kills. And yes, you are reading that right, our division took down the entire red team, all 9 kills for 3 ships. I hope you've enjoyed watching that one. It did get hairy, but there were some events in there that were absolutely monumental, and you're not going to see that happen every single day. It was a pleasure to play with gkracer there. It was a pleasure to be in the presence of absolute perfection. I hope you've liked that one, guys. Please do smash that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're happy to see a world record in World of Warships Legends, then please do consider leaving a super thanks or even taking a membership out for the channel for as little as 99p a month. As always, until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.